Hello YouTube, and welcome back to Be a Loser. In this video, we're going to discuss some common questions as well as some side effects of fasting and how you can handle them. First, let's recap the tips that we discussed in the previous video. So, what can we have during our fasting period? Well, first and foremost, lots of water. Whether plain or sparkling, we need to drink enough to stay hydrated. Revisit our last video so you can calculate your daily water intake. Remember that we want only natural flavorings in our water, no sugar substitutes or artificial sweeteners. And stay away from diet sodas during the fasting period. Next was tea. Herbal teas are great, hot or iced. Remember that green tea and cinnamon both have appetite suppressing qualities. Plain is better here, but you can add cream or half and half. And of course, coffee is great. Again, hot or iced and with cream if it will help in your fasting compliance. Caffeinated or decaf are both fine. And remember that coffee also has appetite suppressing qualities. And finally, my favorite, broths. Bone broth or vegetable broth are great. They have many excellent nutrients and are superb for a healthy lifestyle. Broths can help immensely if you have hunger pangs that threaten your fasting compliance. That wraps up our recap, so let's move on to some common questions and side effects of fasting. The first question is typically how to break your fast. Now, we covered this a bit in our last video, but let's just revisit it here so we don't have any roadblocks to our long-term fasting. When coming off of any fast, be sure to eat slowly and only until you're satisfied. Feeling satisfied is not the same thing as feeling full. When you get to the point where you feel that you don't necessarily need to eat anymore, but that you could, then I would say you're satisfied. Wait a couple of minutes and see if you still feel hungry. When coming off of a long fast, especially 48 hours or longer, be sure to break the fast slowly. Eat a quarter cup of macadamia nuts, walnuts, or pecans, and then wait 15 minutes or so to let any hunger pangs subside. Then eat your meal slowly and again until satisfied. Don't restrict how much you eat, but don't overeat as it isn't necessary. The next biggest question or concern is getting hungry while fasting. Certainly in the first month, as you are retraining your body, you will get hunger pangs. We've covered what you can take during these periods to help with compliance. Another good idea is to always eat your meals at the dinner table. Don't eat in front of the TV or in bed. We'll discuss exactly why this is important in a more in-depth video. Remember that hunger comes in waves. You're never truly in a constant state of hunger. So just ride out the waves and you'll be fine. Over time, as you fast and your body becomes accustomed to burning its own fat, your hunger will decrease. This certainly has been the case for me. And my advice is just push through as best you can, drink water, and take some broth if necessary. Like anything, fasting gets easier the longer that you do it. Many people are concerned that fasting will make them tired. In reality, and in my personal experience as well, the opposite is true. You will most likely have more energy while fasting as the body produces increased adrenaline. Additionally, our basal metabolism, TEE, increases during fasts as well. Fatigue is not a normal effect of fasting. So if you are experiencing excessive fatigue while fasting, then you should stop immediately and consult a physician. Many people are concerned that fasting will make them confused or forgetful. Now, I believe TV is a big culprit here. We constantly see commercials telling us that we're going to get slow or irritable when we're hungry. The reality is quite the opposite. Historically, societies felt that fasting actually improved cognition and awareness. So long-term fasting may actually have memory benefits. There are some theories that fasting may actually help prevent age-related memory issues, such as Alzheimer's and dementia. Again, we'll discuss that in depth in a later video. Another big question is if you can exercise while fasting. My advice here is just keep doing what you were doing before you started on your fasting regimen. So if you exercised, keep it up. If you didn't, then you don't need to feel compelled to start exercising now. If you do decide to exercise, then I would encourage you to do so while fasting. There is a misconception that your body needs food for energy when exercising. This is false. The liver supplies energy through gluconeogenesis, which we discussed in the physiology of fasting video. Feel free to jump back over there for a refresher if you want. If you recall, many bodybuilders and athletes exercise while fasted because of the many benefits of doing so. Again, we'll get much more in depth with that in our fasting and exercise video. But until then, you can feel secure in exercising while fasted. I will tell you that during the first couple of weeks, your workout may feel slightly more difficult. But once you get through that initial period, you'll have more energy than you could imagine for your workouts. Okay, so the next question is what to do if you take daily medications. Many medications can cause nausea or other problems on an empty stomach. We discussed some in a previous video. So the first step is to consult your physician as to whether or not the meds are actually necessary any longer. If you're fasting longer than 24 hours, you can try eating a small serving of leafy greens in order to take your medications. This should have a minimal impact on your fast. Alternately, you can eat chia seeds. These seeds are almost pure fiber. If you soak them in water, they absorb a great deal and become the consistency of pudding. This would be excellent to eat in small amounts for taking medications. Okay, so let's talk about some common side effects. First up is feeling dizzy while fasting. This is most likely a symptom of dehydration. So to offset this, you need plenty of water. And believe it or not, you need more salt. This is where adding salt into your broth comes in very handy. If you experience dizziness while fasting, there's the possibility that your blood pressure is too low. This will occur in particular if you are taking meds for hypertension. Talk to your physician about adjusting your dosage. Okay, next are headaches while fasting. This is another sign that you may be salt depleted. Certainly the first few times that you try fasting, headaches will be common. Common theories are that as you go from a high salt intake diet to very low periods of salt intake while fasting, your body takes time to adjust. Adding salt into your broth will help with this, and it should resolve itself naturally as you continue fasting. Okay, next is a persistent growling stomach. This is a simple fix. Just drink some mineral water. Okay, next is constipation. Personally, I really don't think there's much cause for concern here. Since you're eating less, it follows that you would have fewer bowel movements. I also believe that when you do eat, your body is processing more of that food. Thus, there is less waste. If you're concerned, you can eat foods that are much higher in fiber during your eating windows. You can also take Metamucil or other fiber supplements during the eating phases. If constipation persists and you are concerned, then speak with your physician about a laxative. Okay, so heartburn. This did occur with me when I first started fasting. I bought a good wedge pillow to help me sleep at an angle, and my heartburn has completely subsided. Placing blocks or 2x4s under the head of your bed is another option. Also, after you eat, try to avoid laying down for an hour or so. You can take sugar-free antacids or Alka-Seltzer. I also find that sparkling water helped me personally. If your heartburn persists, then discuss it with your physician. And finally, muscle cramps. This is usually due to low magnesium levels. It's particularly common in diabetics, so you have two options here. You can either take an over-the-counter magnesium supplement, or you can bathe in Epsom salts. These are actually magnesium salts. Just add a cup of the salt to a warm bath and soak for a half hour. And now I'd like to talk once more about fasting if you are diabetic. We've discussed it a few times, but it is important and worth reiterating. So if you are a diabetic, you need to take special precautions while fasting. You need to monitor your blood sugars and possibly adjust your medications. Follow up with your physician is required. If you can't be monitored closely, then you shouldn't fast. Remember that fasting reduces blood sugar, and if you are on diabetic medications, this drop can lead to life-threatening hypoglycemia. If this occurs and you have a very low drop in blood sugar, you must eat some sugar or drink some juice, even if it means breaking your fast early. Again, if you can't be monitored closely, then don't fast. If you have consistent low blood sugar, then it's likely that you are over-medicated. Again, please work with your physician during this process. Things to watch for while fasting are persistent nausea, vomiting, dizziness, fatigue, high or low blood sugar, or lethargy. These are not normal for fasting. Hunger and constipation are normal side effects that we've covered. Okay, so that's it for this video. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next video, keep being a loser.